We're at an army base. It's a special army base this morning that is staffed by the rabbinic arm of the army, but not just the rabbis who are teaching. This is specifically a Chevra Kadisha base. This is where all of the bodies of those who are killed at war in service are brought to be prepared for burial. This should be one of the saddest places on earth. It is one of the most difficult places, particularly over the last 3 weeks. The soldiers here have all been called up for Miluim. They are fully staffed and have been working around the clock, unfortunately, and they took us inside. They showed us what they do. There's a special preparation for those soldiers who are killed in battle, different than the way the Chevra Kadisha generally prepares a body. They are buried in their clothes that they were killed in, the whole preparation. And the Rav who took us around, literally, he had to stop several times just to catch himself, to compose himself, as he just describes the process of how they identify with fingerprints and with dental records. And when he finished, we went to lunch to join the soldiers, the Chayalim, these Rabbanim in Eretz Yisrael. And I just have to show you what happened. So it started with a few guys just dancing around the tables, around the periphery of the room. Am Yisrael Chai. But then it turned into the Simchas Torah that these guys never had. Because remember, it was Simchas Torah morning that they all got the call, and they ran from their homes, from their shuls to their bases. And we did hakafos. I'm going to show you just a small snippet. And then from there, it turned into a total kunzitz with Achenu, the tefillah for the Chayalim, and Ani Mamim. It was just magnificent. Listen in. So the hotel we're staying in is basically completely filled by evacuees from the south that are living there, but they're here with their entire families, young families, just have nowhere to go. So I don't know what to do during the day when we're out, but at night it's just crawling with kids. And I want to just show you what's going on. They're like doing concerts here just to try to entertain everyone. It's an amazing thing and a total balagan all at once. It's really unbelievable, and the amount of help that Klal Yisrael is going to need just to manage the hotel is being paid by the government a third of the price for each room that's being used. Here's just another little room here. I'm just trying to create spaces here for everyone, and there's a lot of work to do. When we come back, we're adopting families and communities because the need is enormous. Can you imagine being here for 3 weeks, 4 weeks? It's going to be several more weeks. Entire families in a hotel room, nowhere to go, nothing to do. It's not a simple situation. The lobby is a zoo upstairs. I can't describe it. It's like 6:30, 7 o'clock here at night, and it's just filled with people because how long can you stay in a hotel room for? So they're just running through the lobby. It's like 100 people.
So today was amazing. We paid a shiva call, unfortunately, to a family who lost their son. And then when we went to a hospital hours later, I happened to come across a unit that I had helped out with some vests. And one of the guys recognized me, and we were talking to the unit there, to some of the special forces. And I just mentioned that we were at a shiva call. And of course, the older guys, they're in their 30s, they actually knew, well, they knew the family, of course, and they knew the name of the people who we visited. It just shows we're all interconnected. Everyone here feels everyone's pain. Everyone here feels everyone's joy. The soldiers and the people keep saying they cannot believe that 40 rabbis and lay people went to visit them. They're blown away by this, and we just have to keep helping out Am Yisrael. Thank you.
Today was day 3 of our trip. Another interesting day. We started out at a shiva house. Somebody who lost their son in the first day, and from there we went to an army base, which specializes. This part of the army base specializes in identifying body parts and doing all the taharas for the army and for the people who were just killed. I think my biggest takeaway from today is that we came here to give chizuk to them, and everywhere we go, whether it's a father speaking about his son, they're giving us chizuk. It's amazing. It really is amazing, and the resolve of the Israeli people here is just incredible, and they're giving me back a little bit of life after grieving for 3 weeks. So it's really been an incredible journey, and today was really an important day for all of us.
Let me just share a couple of highlights from some of the things that we did today. The first thing we did is drive up to Akko, where we paid a shiva call to the family of Amichai Rubin, Hashem Yikom and Damo. Truth is, it wasn't really a shiva call. The shiva had ended, but the family was gracious enough to host us. We had split into 2 groups, so we were about 20 people in their home. And they shared stories about Amichai, a young soldier, I think he was 21 or 22, a big smile, always was a chevraman in the midst of everything, but they really highlighted how he had this ability always to catch the guys on the periphery of the social network and bring them in. This was his first posting. He had just finished his training in the army, was in one of the outposts near Gaza, and when the original barrage of rockets landed, so all the soldiers ran out. They went out literally without all of their weapons because the idea of an infiltration was so unthinkable. They just thought it was a rocket attack, and then they confronted tens of terrorists with limited supplies. He was shot twice in the arm and in the leg, refused to evacuate. They held together with his other soldiers for a couple of hours. The truth is, many of the terrorists moved deeper in. They weren't really interested in engaging a battle in the first outpost that they hit, and it took him about 5 hours until he was evacuated. He had lost a tremendous amount of blood. At that point, he was still alive when he reached the hospital, but 2 days later was declared brain dead, and his family donated his organs, and 5 other Jews are actually alive today because of him and because of his death, his tragic death. And some of them have actually come to their house to be able to give the family their thanks. And being in the home, this is just one of over 1,400 families that have or are currently or still to sit shiva. They haven't even had all of the burials, but to be sitting in the living room and listen to them being able to tell the story of their son and his heroism and how he just wanted to be part of the Jewish people. Just one last thing, they 3 weeks before he died, and as he was stationed in Gaza, one of his friends had asked him, aren't you afraid of dying down here? And he said, of course I am. But this is what the Jewish people need. They need for us to be protecting these villages out here. And he died a hero amongst the Jewish people. From there we went to the base, the army base, which I described in an earlier post, which is really a place of the Chevra Kadisha, where they prepare bodies for burial. Very difficult place to be. But as I described, we sang and we danced with the Chayalim. They gave us so much strength. They're so filled with life and resolve and confidence. And it's really just it's hard to describe just being around all of these soldiers and the energy and the strength and the conviction they have despite the most difficult of tasks that these particular soldiers had. And from there we went to another hospital to visit Chayalim who were wounded. I'm not going to share any pictures from there. They asked us not to share these pictures. But just one soldier after another, so appreciative of our visit. Many of the rabbis had brought from their schools letters. So, we sent ours to Washington, D.C. Many rabbis brought letters from the children. And, they came with these stacks. And every chayal that we would come across, they would hand a number of letters to, some written in English, some in Hebrew. And we came across 2 reservists who were there visiting their colleagues, their comrades. And so we stopped to schmooze with them while we were visiting the other Chayalim in the hospital. And they both spoke English. And one of our guys on the trip offered some of them, letters also. And this Chayal, this big, strong reservist, he reaches into his, they have a little pocket on the side of him, and he pulls out a packet of letters that he had from kids already. He says, I take them with me everywhere that I go. So you should just know it makes a difference. Everything we do makes a difference. They feel the Chayalim so hugged by the Jews of Chutz La'aretz who have supported them, who have supplied them with supplies and with money and with letters and just been a part of the fact that we're there. They always we can't believe that you came, and you came with 40 people. It makes a difference, and we're feeling like we're part of that which is going on here right now. This amazing experience of Klal Yisrael as we are broken and grieving and mourning, and yet so alive and so strong. It's really something. Am Yisrael Chai. Look forward to sharing. Tomorrow's our last day here on this trip, and sharing some highlights of that. Have a great day, everyone.